coming from a very timepiece of a nap. Anyways, yeah. Welcome to today's word of the day. Yeah, we're going to Ruth 4. This is the final chapter of the book of Ruth that we've been reading for the past 4 live sessions. I'm not going to say 4 days because I've not been here every day consistently. It is, yeah. So let's start reading. Boaz marries Ruth. Who would have thought this is how it's going to end when you're reading chapter 3? If somebody just left it at chapter 3 and said, okay, they didn't get married, but here they are. Meanwhile, Boaz went up to the town gate and sat down there as the garden redeemer he had mentioned came along. Boaz came over. Come over, my friend, and sit down. He went over and sat down. Boaz took 10 of the elders of the town and said, sit here. And they did so. Then he said to the garden redeemer, Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling a piece of land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. I don't know how to pronounce this word. I thought I should bring the matter to your attention and suggest that you buy it in the presence of these seated here and in the presence of the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, do so. But if you will not, tell me, so I will know. For no one has a right to do it except you. I am next in line. Then he responded and said, I will redeem it. Then Boaz said, on the day you buy the land from Naomi, you will acquire Ruth the Moabite, the dead man's widow, in order to maintain the name of the dead man with his property. At this, the garden redeemer said, then I cannot redeem it because I might endanger my own estate. You redeem it yourself. I cannot do it. Now, in earlier times in Israel, for the redemption and the transfer property to become final, one party took off his sandals and gave it to the other. This was a method of legalizing the transaction. So the garden redeemer said to Boaz, buy it yourself, and removed his sandals. Then Boaz announced to the elders and all people, today you are all witnesses that I have bought from Naomi the property of Elimelech, Kalian, and Mahlon. I have acquired Ruth the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, his widow as my wife, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property. So that his name will not disappear among his family or from the hometown. Today you are my witnesses. Then the elders and all people at the gate said, we are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the family of Israel. May you have standing in Ephrathah and the famous Lord, and be famous in Bethlehem through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman. May your family be like Perez, who Tamar bore to Judah. Now, this is how I said the last video. Don't meddle, don't put your hands in things of God and things that are your desires and in things that you want your outcome. Put it out there and get your hands out of it. Things are going to go according to one order and also according to ways that do not make logic, do not make sense. Like here, Boaz was not supposed to acquire the land. He was not supposed to acquire Ruth. But because order doesn't matter when something is going to happen, order doesn't matter, protocol doesn't matter when things are going to happen, when breakthroughs are going to take place. Things just happen the way that they're supposed to be, the way that you had desired to be. Because maybe in the mind of Ruth, when they came in together with Naomi as you start, they knew that they wanted Boaz to be the husband of Ruth. But obviously, logic didn't have it in mind. Order didn't have it in mind, but things just turned out to be that way. Anyways, yeah. Then verse 13, Naomi gains a son. So Boaz took Ruth and she became his wife. When he made love to her, the Lord enabled her to conceive. She gave birth to a son. The woman said to Naomi, "Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guide and redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law who loves you, who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." Then Naomi took the child in her arms and cared for him. The women living there said, "Naomi has a son." They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of Jesse. In Zulu, simbiza Jesse. The father of Jesse, the father of David. This then is the family line of Perez. Perez is the father of Hezron. Hezron is the father of Ram. Ram is the father of Amnibad. Amnibad is the father of Nahshon. Nahshon is the father of Solomon. Solomon is the father of Boaz. Boaz is the father of Obed. Obed is the father of Jesse. And Jesse is the father of David. See how things just turn out in ways that we never even thought. I'm sure even at that time, they didn't think who David will become, because no one thought who David will become until David became who he became. So, yes, the book of Ruth, for me, teaches me right now to, one, continue in what I desire. I've been speaking of this probably for the last 2 months at this point, to Matthew 7 verse 7, God saying that whatever you desire, I will give to you. Whatever you ask, I'll give to you. And seek, pray, and you'll be given. Even here for me, it says, God will give you and change your circumstances in ways that do not make sense. Because when we have our desires, when we have our prayers, we often look at logic, we often look at how could this thing be sorted? How could we assist God in giving us what we've asked for? God doesn't need our assistance because he doesn't work with order. He doesn't work with the ways that we would think things would work. Because had he needed our assistance, I think maybe Ruth would have gotten Boaz in a way that is illegal, in a way that is not morally right, but it got her. But she got him rather, in ways that logic didn't make sense, but it was legal, it was acceptable, it was ways that no one could ever question it, because I think God's hands was in it at that time. And he knew uNkulunkulu will bless her. And yeah, with that said, that was the book of Ruth. Tomorrow we're going to start something new. I'm still going to pray and think about what to read next. But yeah, that was Ruth. And Ruth for me, the book of Ruth for me reminds me to not get involved with the things of God, to ignore any circumstance that says otherwise about my prayers, to also trust and listen to what God asked me to do at any given moment. Love you lots, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.